Yo, what up? It's your boy. Well, you guys already read the title of the video, so I know where I'm going with this. I will no longer be making content on the Digimon Super Rumble moving forward. There's like a big reason, like a big group of reasons for it, but basic gist of it is that I didn't like the way the game has been changing recently. Some things like the addition of the VIP shop, I believe, hit me quite badly. Especially when like complaining about it to move games just led to the creation of this platinum tier when like my suggestion was something that was way cheaper than this, right? And it gave me like a feeling that it was very demoralizing, just to be completely honest. Like I wrote some notes for this, but I feel like I'm just gonna go off script, just gonna like speak out of my mind. Because there's a few very big problems with, like, in my experience with dealing with Movie Interactive. Well, it all starts from the fact that, like, they really don't respect the players that much. And me being in a position as a content creator means I also have to, like, be okay with most of the things they do. And I would say that largely I was, but then, in the past few months that changed since they started to take more aggressive stances towards monetization and also moderation, right? You guys were around like when people got banned because of rifts, remember that? And then like having to get them to revert those bans and just making like public outcry was very difficult, right? Along with other things like like going as far back as January with how they handled the criticism towards the Gilmon lottery, and it taught me a lesson that basically when they're having problems and they don't want to hear public opinions that are negative, they just make forum events to get people like flooding the forums and drawing out the negative opinions. And leading up to today, I brought that up because it does lead up to today and how they handled the Omega release. A lot of people were complaining about the feather item, right? This little item over here. That it is not a fair item. It takes you several items per attempt if you get lucky. Because, you know, getting lucky is the whole thing, right? And my problem from this, it basically comes from, if you think far back, like when Machine Dermot was released for comparison, they would never, and they haven't up until this very patch that we're on, sold a Machine Dermot part. They just would not do that kind of thing. What they did instead was giving people the option to buy cores so they can guarantee they're lucking to the same RNG, right? And okay, like I'm okay with people buying like an easier way into the same luck as everyone else, but right now they're selling a way out of the luck, a way that does, you know, the VIP shop basically does that, stops you from having to deal with any negative things from the system they have created. And like the price of this is insane, right? I cannot stand behind it. Like I'm not even gonna go into the point of Omega Moon stats because I feel like that's a separate issue. But just the main problem here is that like they make it so if you don't spend money, you basically have to grind a lot, and or like the problem really comes in when they are not really obligated to give you the rates for these luck part. You know, like they have not disclosed the actual rates of getting a feather. They could be changing it. They could be altering it. We have no way of knowing. The same goes for like hatching eggs. You know, people have noticed that eggs just like hatch more frequently to some things depending on like what Digimon are available or what's the new thing, right? And I see that as something that's greatly negative with the game, especially when it made a lot of my friends just quit right now, like because they failed over and over, and the frustration that generates. And I absolutely agree with them. If you're playing for hours in a game, you're supposed to at least get something from it, right? But you gotta be like really ahead of the curve in this game to be able to farm and level up something at the same time, right? And it does create this situation where a lot of people are like started quitting the game and weren't really interested in coming back, right? And like even for paying users, I could pay all the money necessary to get the VIP status right now. And since it only works for the next month, if they just decide, hey, we're not gonna have the item you want there in the next month anymore, you can't do anything about it, right? Because it's the way that they designed the system. Like if you spend the money now, you only get the VIP status for the next month. And like seeing how this whole situation played out with all the other things that went along during the year, it created a situation where it felt super heavy and like super stressful to me. And I tried talking with the GMs about this. I tried making the forum post about the VIP system, as you guys know, and that only led to the creation of this other platinum VIP tier, which really just doesn't solve the problem. And I think most of all, like of everything else they've done so far, it creates a really bad precedent where they literally can treat the players like horribly just because, right? I don't think there's really any reason to treat a player like this. I don't know, man. It feels very weird and like an afterthought, right? There are other things I dislike, like the burst skill system is actually something I really haven't gotten on any of my Digimon, because one of the criticism I had for that is that like there's no reliable way to get the course, and I guess their intended way is just that you hatch and delete a lot of megas, and like that's regular. This is like a normal thing. But since you do need items for that, it just like since you need an evolutor for each mega you get in that kind of situation, it makes it so you are constantly like grinding and running after things, and then you need to be leveling up Digimon and deleting them. And that doesn't seem like a fun gameplay loop at all. It seems more like you're just like hitting your head against the wall over and over and hoping that something else comes out. And yeah, it feels disrespectful. If I can be like completely honest, it just feels disrespectful. Besides that, I think there were also some other very negative things that happened along the year, like them changing strength and intelligence, the way the main damage status in the game worked, and not really giving anyone like not even an event to make it cheaper so you could change your builds or test things out. Like I remember that me and Hassan spent a ton of bits on the week the patch came out just to test stuff. And speaking of spending, right? I also want to talk about like my personal experience as a community manager, or at least I was a community manager. I have already sent a message saying I was not gonna be doing it anymore. Basically, all that like entailed to is that I would send the GM like bug reports, talk to them directly, asking about like when things were going wrong and that kind of stuff. And it and all I would get for it is just 10,000 crown, which at first it was really good. Like it really helped me like use the time that I was not playing the game to actually get something with it, right? Cut down the grind. But since they also started asking for more money on things, there was also more things that I could not show off in the update videos, and that was really funny. Because you would think that if I'm supporting them, they would like also help support me, but they haven't really done any of that. And not only that, So when I had a conversation with the GM that's responsible for me, being a community manager, that I was finding it hard to keep doing this because like the feather was a really hard to obtain item. Even to this day, I haven't gotten it. Like I tried 3 or 4 different Valdur ones that I deleted. So yeah, and like even after talking about it with the GM, all that he said was that like he could give me a support account, but it's been a year and a half that I've been a community manager making content on the game, and not once they have suggested to like give me an account to make stuff or give me any type of like other financial compensation, which made this way harder than it had to be, right? Because then I was more relying on donations from you guys and support from you guys to actually make the content, right? And yeah, you know, a really, really negative experience overall. And I don't really attribute any of these problems to the people, like the guys that were responsible for me or the development team. In my point of view, it mostly felt like they were just following the orders of the higher ups, and the higher ups were the ones that were saying, "Hey, we just care about the money anyway," right? Because a lot of these changes, they don't really make sense. A lot of these spend money updates don't really make any sense. Like the black gear equipment doesn't make any sense. Like the burst skill system doesn't make any sense. The Mega Potential 5 doesn't make any sense. You know, it's a lot of weird things that they added, and I imagine they will continue adding. They're more like, it feels like someone is just telling the developers that like, hey, we need more things to make money, and that's it. Not necessarily like they need content on the game, you know? And yeah, like when you put all of this together, I guess you all can understand why and how it's gotten really heavy for me. Like I feel that like especially for the past 2 months or so, and really hard when Grand Quagamon and Mars One were released. I really haven't played that much since then. Like I've only really leveled Wildor months since then, and that was it. And yeah, I'm currently checking if there's people to take on the mantle of the community and keep this going a little bit. But I personally have hit that point where I feel like I can't support this game or this company any longer because of these changes, because of all this. Because like I don't think they did anything illegal. At least not that I know of. They like changing the rates on things could be one of those, but you know, like I'm not gonna accuse them of anything because it's all like alleged, you know. But I do feel like morally they are very wrong, and they really don't care about the players that play their game day in day out. Especially when you add in the bans to like the most esteemed people in this community, players that were really active, and how they handled bans and actually looking at logs. Because we all know there's people that use bots day in day out. There's people that like create alt accounts just to farm, and all that is legal for some reason. And I just cannot say like that I support it, you know. And yeah, that's basically why I'm leaving. I hope you guys understand it. If you do or if you don't, you can always just leave a comment. I would love to hear what you guys think about the situation, and get some like discourse going on about what like goes on with this company. And yeah, just have a good one, guys. Take care of yourselves. I'm still gonna be streaming just other things, right? You guys will still see me online a lot. Because my idea is to, you know, keep having fun and like enjoy Digimon content as much as I can, but I really just cannot support this company anymore, so I'll not be playing this game anymore. And that's it. Bye, guys.